Hello. Today on the Becoming Your Warrior podcast, I'm joined by Mandy Millan, a heart-led business mentor, founder of Reach, and a passionate advocate for creating success without sacrificing well-being. With over 20 years of experience growing businesses and supporting hundreds of entrepreneurs, Mandy knows firsthand what it takes to overcome burnout, find alignment, and build meaningful connections. And in this conversation, we're going to explore the challenges that she's faced, how she's changed her relationship with herself and others, and the lessons that she has learned that now allow her to help so many others thrive. So welcome, Mandy.
Thanks, Emma. It's lovely to chat to you today.
Yeah, lovely to chat to you. And I mean, that's quite a lot that we're going to talk about today. But I guess for me, the first place that I would love to start really is, can you share, before we get into your background, can you share an area of your life where you've really faced a big obstacle or challenge and you've overcome that?
Wow, there's so many. I mean, a big personal challenge for me, which really was a tough time in my life, was when I was in my late teens, around 16, and my youngest of my elder brothers, he had a brain hemorrhage out of the blue at 21, fit and healthy. He collapsed, and it was a tumor on his brain waiting to go off. And yeah, it was so challenging, so challenging. I mean, he was in a coma for about 6 months. We didn't know if he was going to live, and to get through that. I mean, he's well now, thank goodness. But it left him heavily disabled, and not being able to walk properly, and he needs full-time care. But what that did for me, and the challenge to go through that, was it was so worrying at the time, and it was so challenging to know if he was going to live and how we would get through that as a family, was to really be positive and to really lean into hope and to really connect as a family and have trust that he would be okay. And I remember my dad actually saying to me at a young age, if you can get through this and believe and trust, then you will be able to really push through so many challenges in your life. And I do believe that now. I feel that really set the marker for me, because it was such an uncertain time. And yeah, he actually now is one of the most positive people you could be around. Like, he sees his double vision as a gift, and what would a blind man give for his double vision? And so he has sort of set that energy for me and my family in terms of being positive and not moaning, and being really grateful for what we have.
Oh, wow. Amazing. What's your brother's name?
Paul.
Paul. Oh, bless him. What an absolute legend, right? That's
He is.
amazing.
He's an absolute
Yeah.
legend. Yeah. I got the chance to actually care for him for 6 months, when a long time ago, and be his carer and help him physically and train him and work with him. And it was really challenging, but it was such an amazing experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, well, I mean, thank you for sharing that. That's huge. I mean, were you, before that, would you say your family was positive? Because I'd say you are like one of the most positive people I've ever met, and your energy is amazing and infectious. But like, did that positivity exist in your family before that, or was it that experience?
Yeah, they are positive people. Definitely. They are positive people. You know, they are entrepreneurs. They've created their own life by design. So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My mum, my dad, they were always doing what they wanted to do for themselves. So there was a level of positivity with that. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of moaning. There was hard times and challenge and stress with, running small businesses or what have you. But genuinely, they were really fun. If you were to ask anyone, that, like, which is one of my core values, they're fun people. Yeah, and definitely positive.
Yeah. And so both your mum and dad were entrepreneurs as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So my dad's had his own. He started off selling teddy bears in the East End of London as a market trader, and then he got into cars and was selling cars, and then he expanded and became the owner of a tyre fitting company. And then he scaled that to 5 premises in London, tyre fitting, and then started exporting in and out of South Africa. So that was my dad. And then he was a real entrepreneur. And then he got into golf magazines, which is another story, but he ended up taking Paul, my disabled brother, out with him. Um, he created the magazine, he wrote the magazine, he got sponsorship for the golf magazine, and Paul would go out on the deliveries with him, socializing with all the golf clubs. So it was social for him. So that was amazing. That was amazing. That was my
Oh.
dad's background. And my mum was a florist for a long, long time. She had her own small business, which I worked in from the age of 12, selling fresh flowers. Yeah. And my brothers all got into being mechanics and tyre fitters. And my middle brother Jamie just received recognition for best tyre retailer in the UK. So he's amazing. He's taken on my dad's legacy, who he sadly lost 5 years ago.
Yeah, wow. And so, I mean, growing up in that, like seeing your both your parents in business, like initially in small business. I mean, what was that like for you? You mentioned sort of working at your mum's florist from the age of 12. I mean, has work and business like just always been there in your bones, I guess?
Yeah, 100%. It's in my DNA when I look back. I mean, as I say with a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with, I saw the grit and determination with them, and the freedom and the flexibility that they had. You know, it wasn't 9 to 5. We'd be packing magazines on the weekend or going to the flower markets early in the mornings, but they created their own schedule and they worked for themselves. And
Mm.
and that's what I really loved. But I mean, my journey was different. I went into big business, and then I've come full circle. Now I'm with small businesses again. But when I look back, my heart and my DNA is definitely around supporting small business because of that influence from my family, for sure.
Yeah. And you mentioned sort of like growing up with two entrepreneurial parents, like there were struggles in there as well. What was one or a couple of the struggles that you witnessed?
The struggles would be boundaries. And which we all know as small business owners. So is actually when to stop and actually cutting off time. As I say, it's great that we could work at weekends or um, set things up for, deliveries and also working in flowers or the tires or the magazines. But sometimes at the weekend it would carry on into the weekends. And
Yeah.
that would also affect family life as well.
Yeah.
So I would say boundaries would be the biggest one.
Yeah, beautiful. And obviously being a mum of two yourself and having a family yourself, is that something like now that you catch yourself on is the boundaries?
Yes, definitely. I feel boundaries are really key for me as a mum with two very active young children. Is if I'm not looking after my well-being, creating those boundaries, then I'm no use to anyone else. As a mum, as a wife, as a mentor, it's key that I really protect my energy.
Yeah, beautiful. And we will get into reach. We will start talking about reach soon. But before we do, I'd love just to find out from you, like, let's just say a scenario like someone with just early starting out a small business and they know nothing about marketing and they somehow find you, are lucky enough to find you, and they come to you and they're like, I don't know where to start. This is where I'm at. I'm seeing clients. I've got a few things going on. What would be one of the first things that you would advise them on when it comes to marketing, when it comes to getting themselves out there?
I would say it's a great question, and there's lots to it. Like, where do I start? I would say if they've already started and they have a small client base, but they want to expand more, I would say, in terms of the business, is what's an area that they really love. Like, it's important to be lit up by your work. So if it's about they want to be customer facing, they want to help people, but they don't want to perhaps put themselves out there and be visible, I would say that it's really about getting into the mindset shift because right now people buy into people even more. So the focus would be really on who are your ideal clients? Who do you really want to serve? And what are their problems? because you would be hearing those problems all the time when they come to you, and to focus on those problems and understand your solution and how you help them with a transformation is key. Once you have that locked in, then you want to become visible. You want to be sharing your stories and how you've helped others in that situation, and start to build your brand and share your voice. And there's so many options we could go into, but I think that would probably take up the whole time on how to do that in terms of tactics and in terms of strategies. But there's so many options right now for free organic marketing for you to step into the light and to do that. And it's just, as long as you know who you're serving and what their problems are and what your transformation is, that's where you want to really dive in deeper and share more to build your brand on who you really are and understand your voice and your visibility. Because if people can't see you, they can't buy into you. And so get away from the Canva templates. We need them as a holding point, but really it's your energy that people want to buy into, specifically if you are a business like ourselves, where we are of service to people, which is fundamentally who I support, which is where I've come from in my businesses as well. That would be my key. And then I would say that your messaging as the next point would be super key as well. Because a lot of the time I see people wasting energy on creating marketing of what they think sells their product or service. But really where they're missing it is what we just spoke about, which is, well, what's the problem and where's the solution? Because people have such a short attention span, right? 6 seconds. So we need to understand that this is for us from a customer perspective. And then the messaging needs to land and be aligned with that. And there's so many ways to do that. You can craft that yourself, but there's also systems out there that can really help you lay that foundation. And then it's really about taking action and being consistent on the channels from a marketing perspective. And then once you've got a grip of organic marketing and you've got that consistency of brand and the trust is there, then you can elevate with different types of marketing, paid marketing, to really rev things up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, for you, like when people do find you, and let's say someone's been in business for a couple of years, or, they've kind of tried everything, like what's one of the biggest, not mistakes, but what do you think's one of the biggest distractions that people buy into, whether it's buying multiple courses or whatever, like when people are starting a business, because there's, this is their skill, this thing that they do. It might not necessarily be marketing, but what's the biggest kind of complaint or issue or confusion that people come to you about?
It's a good question. There's lots. I'm like, where do I start?
I know, I can list
so
about 10
many. There's so many. I would say the overarching general would be the messaging, because the messaging just isn't landing. So people are just trying different aspects, different visuals, different approaches, but the messaging isn't connecting with their target customer, their pain points, and showing the transformation. Like just as simple as that. Okay. And like their brand promise and what they do. What is it that you do? I think there's a real block where some people don't even know what they do, let alone then selling it to other people. Because we don't understand, we're not going to buy. So it would be a messaging, which is what I see, it's a messaging. But as in terms of what the customer would come to me and what they're overwhelmed with is, like you said, is they're just spinning their wheels. Nothing's working, nothing's landing. They're posting and hoping, they're trying to connect with their clients, but it's not landing. That would be a confusion. Spinning wheels, overwhelmed, not connecting, exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how I found you. So.
You're like, you sounds familiar.
Just tick off all of those. So tell me a little bit about your own, before we get into Reach, because that's super powerful and I'm really excited about that. But tell me about your own entrepreneurial journey, because you've mentioned you were in the big corporates. Obviously, you grew up in that, had that big corporate experience, but then with your own businesses, like when did that evolve?
So a rewind, coming out of university, I started working for big businesses in marketing. So I graduated in London with an international marketing degree, and my thesis was in international branding. So I've always loved brand and storytelling and connection and trust. Went into working for big firms in Sydney, running marketing teams, and I just felt completely lost and disconnected in that world for me. And which I know we'll touch on, but for me, it was reconnecting to myself and what I wanted to do, which was to be of service. That's what was coming through for me all the time, was to help people. And so that's where I shifted and worked in well-being. And my first business was as a Pilates teacher and building my Pilates practice in the UK. And from there, I sold that business and moved back to Australia, because I went back to the UK. I'm going to hop around, but I was in Australia after uni for the big businesses, went back to the UK, lost, and decided to have a complete change of life, set up my Pilates practice in the UK, sold that business, came back to Sydney and set up my Pilates practice in Manly, and then scaled that business into a corporate wellbeing business, placing meditation, Pilates, yoga, mindfulness facilitators all over Australasia.
Wow.
And then got into mum life, had my wonderful children, took a step back, and then realized that mentoring was really where I wanted to be, because people were starting to come to me and actually asking me for advice. So I started to set up a consultancy firm myself. And then I just landed on, well, I'm meant to guide people and I'm meant to connect people, hence how the community started. And I went from there. So it's a bit of a journey, and there were so many challenges throughout. But that's where I am today. And that's why I can help people with not just the marketing, but also the mindset, because I faced a lot of challenges with my mindset throughout that journey. It wasn't like, and then I did this and then I just cruised into that. And like, it was mega challenging.
Yeah. And how much of a part do you think that plays in small business and running a business is mindset?
It's everything. Because it's interesting when you ask me about the marketing and where could we go and what could we do? The processes, the strategies, the tactics, the solutions are one area to deliver and to present to you. But if you're not willing to do the work and get out of your own way and take action consistently, you're never going to do it. And so for me, holding my clients accountable and pushing them forward through the blocks which I faced early in business and what I see all the time. And as you would know, someone who works with people with mindset, is if we can't get past that, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. It's a belief that we need to get rid of. So for me, in the early stages, when I left big business and I went into the sparkly world of wellness, I constantly had, who am I to be in wellness? No one's going to like me. No one's going to connect with me. No one's going to believe me. But I had to push past that. And the more that I pushed past that and overcome that and got around the right people who coached me and helped me every day, and successful entrepreneurs who were ahead of me, then I was able to execute. And now that's 15 years ago, nearly over 15 years ago. Now I can execute very, very quickly, as I don't see it as a mistake. I see it as, oh, well, that's a learning, I'll move on. Whereas before if something didn't work out, I'd procrastinate, and should I do this? And can I take action? And oh my God, second guessing. Whereas now I'm further along.
Yeah. And for you, like, just referencing the fact that, you sought out these people that were a little, a bit ahead of you in various areas, like what kind of importance would you put on that in terms of having that coach, having that accountability partner?
It's everything. It really is everything. I mean, it's absolutely priceless to have guidance and support and accountability, which is why I'm so passionate about what I do, is everything. I wouldn't be where I am today. There's no way I'd be taking moves and being able to support people at this level without that. That was everything for me, because I wouldn't have scaled. I wouldn't have sold that business. I would have moved to Australia. I just wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so can we talk a little bit about the creation of Reach? Because it sounds like it was kind of like an organic thing initially, where you've had your two kiddies people are starting to reach out to you. I mean, just even that word, there you go.
Ba-bum.
So how so how did it kind of evolve? Like, and what was the vision, I guess, initially?
It's really interesting because I didn't sit down with Reach and think, this is the vision, I want to create this. It happened organically where I was invited. I was actually, I remember I was breastfeeding my daughter. A lady approached me who had a successful career and said, I'd heard about you in wellness, and I think it would be really great to set up a women in business event on the Central Coast where I live. And so we ran two very successful events. And that didn't work out, the partnership. And afterwards, I just knew that the connection that I saw, the deeper layers within the events, was something I was so profoundly inspired by, was the connection, which is one of my core values as well. And I then went into working with another lady, another partnership where it was a very similar offering, a little bit more holistic, where we ran some other events. Again, that partnership didn't work out in terms of the values, and then it was just an awakening. It was, I need to just do this myself. This is for me to step into the light now and actually hold space for community and bring all of my experience, and not just in my work career, but actually, as we were talking earlier, like my DNA and my family, my lineage of entrepreneurs and being around people. Because when I actually look back to my family, they were creating relationships, cross referrals, friendships with local businesses. Naturally, they didn't have any events, they didn't have any communities. I didn't have that in my wellness business starting out. I had to knock on doors, build relationships. When I look at it from a community aspect, I just knew that when we look at a marketing strategy as a whole and holistically, partnership and collaboration should always be at the forefront, not only
Mm.
from a business commercial value perspective, but that was sort of where I was coming from to start. But now with Reach, it's just way more powerful. The meaningful relationships that are happening, the trust, the support, especially as we are getting more and more isolated as human beings, is just really where it's at. So yeah, as you can see, I could talk underwater about this subject because I'm 60 events in now. I'm nearly 3 years of building this community myself, running these events, seeing and curating these conversations with heart-led, open-minded entrepreneurs, and just the emotions that are brought about through this community are just so different to what you would have from a normal business networking event or community. Does that
Yeah,
answer
and
your question? It was a
it
really
does.
long way. Like,
No,
where
I
are we now?
loved it. I just got to see all the classic Mandy,
Mm,
energy, passion coming
lots of
through. So
hands.
yeah, lots of hands, lots of hands. And what do you think? I mean, what do you feel makes Reach different from any other kind of marketing network, community event for small businesses? What do you think that is?
It is the heart-led conversations, which are specifically curated around vulnerability,
Hmm.
and the locations, which help to really relax the nervous system. So for me, my core values are fun and connection. And so it has to be fun and connected.
Yeah.
And so the conversations that I facilitate and my other leaders is around, yeah, what's not working in your business? What are the challenges? Where do you feel blocked right now? And so people are meeting with strangers sometimes and actually sharing that, and they just feel so heard and seen, where I feel in today's life people aren't having these real conversations and actually lifting each other up. They're very surface level, PowerPoints, strategies.
Hmm.
What can you give me? Here's my business card. Can we do business? Whereas I feel when we come in on a real heart-led level and genuineness, that's where the friendships are really developed. And then there's that natural flow of
Yeah,
connection.
absolutely. Yeah. And I think, having been to a few of them myself, like I would say like the energy is super friendly. It's not like, oh, I'm here to do how it's not like what can I do for you? What can you do for me? It's super friendly. You just kind of feel like you've walked out of there meeting other like-minded, lovely friends who might be able to help you down the track in one way or another. But yeah, you definitely create that safe space for people. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah, well done, you. Really appreciate it. So
But just
let's
but just
talk.
to just to
Yeah.
touch on that,
Mm,
the reason why people say to me, "Wow," all the time, these people are really my kind of people that are here. Like, it's quite rare, that everyone is really friendly, everyone is really upbeat, everyone is really
mm,
caring, everyone is really genuine. But that's because they've come through my messaging, as we were talking about before. So I'm
yeah.
very specific in who I call in because it isn't everyone's cup of tea. People do want the PowerPoint, the structure. They want to get down to business with a business card and go. That's fine. But this is a different approach to doing business. And there
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
lot of commercial value, but we don't place that as the highest priority. The
Mm.
commercial value just comes naturally. I've seen millions of dollars of commercial value of people working together, but they've become friends and there's no pressure to bring people. There's no KPIs on who you've got to introduce or what have you. It's very relaxed, like you said, and fun.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. And also, I think as well, like, just even sort of adding to that, it's, yeah, that messaging and just, I mean, that's just crystal clear because it's about like-minded people, it's very, very that kind of energy. You did touch on, and we don't need to go into it in too much detail, but one of the things we talked about was a couple of in your own experiences with your own businesses, relationships or partnerships not working out. Like, what has that taught you about doing any kind of business with anyone? What have those experiences taught you?
They have taught me so much. And I feel the main message is to really be upfront with those that you're working with. And perhaps before, the learning was to discover whether we were aligned and not knowing what the other person's values were, what their core
Mm,
values were. And looking back in hindsight, our core values weren't aligned. And so it's taught me to have those real, genuine, upfront conversations which you and I have had, as soon as we
mm-hmm,
met, someone recommended us to chat. And so it was, we had such an upfront, honest, cards on the table, as my dad would say,
mm-hmm,
genuine conversation to really feel if we're aligned rather than going headfirst into, oh, let's just build a relationship and see how it goes.
mm-hmm.
It's taught me to really, yeah, have an upfront conversation and check in that our values are aligned before I start to partner with someone.
Yeah, yeah, because I think I've definitely seen that with friends of mine as well who have gone into business with friends and then down the track. And even myself, I bought a house with a really beautiful friend of mine who is still a friend, but we had the house for 8 years, and during that time I realized our values were very different in the way that we approached it. So I really do understand that. It's so, so important. And you said that your values of fun and connection, where do they come from? Where do those two values come from?
I haven't actually ever I've been asked that question. I mean, they're just two of them. There are others as well, but I'm just for the purpose of this conversation. With fun, I feel it's definitely inherited from my family. As I was saying, fun was definitely a value for them. They liked to have fun. They loved adventure. They took risks. They were entrepreneurs. They were creative. It was that fun energy. And for me, I like to be around fun people. I like to have fun conversations. Who doesn't want to have fun? Like, life can be challenging all the time. And for me to feel light and creative and in the right energy, just fun brings that for me. So if I really tune in, it's just always where I want to be. Yeah, with
Yeah.
fun. And the connection means a lot to me because I think connection to self, I've learned the inner work is really important for me, and someone who's been meditating every day for the past probably 18 years now. it's really important for me to have that inner game and that connection to self and where I really want to go and listen to my intuition, connection to others at a deeper level. So to really listen to where people are at and connect with them at a deeper level, and connection to others in terms of community as well, which is why I drive that my community reach, is because seeing that connection is everything. Like I always am so excited for a reach event. I'm never thinking, oh, I've got to run this, or this is about financial gain. This is about seeing the connection alive actually makes me buzz.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that kind of like for you, that insight of like being of service and doing that first. Do you find that approach and like the monetary stuff is kind of second? Yeah, can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Well, I feel that when you're leading, when you're on purpose, and you, for me, knowing that that's getting a buzz from connection and really helping people. Same with me connecting others to each other, like understanding collaborations and putting people in touch with people, because that's my drive. When I really listen to that intuitively and follow what feels good, then that's my focus in life. That's what's always been my focus. When I follow that, then when people look back over my life, they'll say to me, wow, you're really lucky and you've done all these things and you've created this and you've created that. And I've literally have just followed what has felt good, which has helped me guide people easily and really felt fulfilled. And I think fulfillment is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Because
And
when you
and
feel fulfilled, it's genuine. People know it.
yeah. Yeah. Have you ever had someone like someone come and be part of your community and their business does not make them feel good and you've had to kind of advise them like kind of maybe we need to go in a different direction? Have you ever had that experience?
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time. Yeah. And I think a lot of that as well isn't perhaps the business making them feel good. I feel that they're doing all the things in their business which is not making them feel good. So it's about, I mean, whatever level you're at in your business, whether you're in the startup stage, whether you're in the scale up stage, it's it's about understanding what you can do, and where else could you perhaps get support to take off some of that, because that's where people stop to feel excited because there's
Mm.
so much to do.
Yeah, yeah, I've definitely been through that stage, which you've helped me helped me through. Because I like admin is not my strong point. I'm just kind of like, and so yeah, when I started working with you, and you were just like, you need to get a VA, like you need someone to take this off, and it's been such a journey of like letting go of things and trusting and handing things over. But now it's like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, cool, what's in the diary? It's not like I've got to like tweak this and so yeah, that's been such a game changer.
Yeah, and like as you said, there's humans that can help, and there's also so much automation and systemization that can just take away some of that load, so you
Mm,
can feel excited and creative in your business.
yeah.
Creativity is key, and to feel creative, we've got to have space.
Mm,
Whereas if we're doing all the things, it becomes too difficult, and that's
yeah.
where I see people lose excitement.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And you sort of mentioned as well for you, like meditation's been a really big part of your life. Like, have you got any other kind of mindset kind of tools or things that you do for yourself? Because obviously, you help people with their businesses, but you're also in your own business yourself. So how do you keep your mindset sharp?
Meditation, number one. Lots of list writing and debriefing to myself, for sure. And the boundaries are really strong. So for me, I have, after my school and daycare drop off with my young children, I set aside an hour every morning, and that's my well-being hour, and that's where I usually hit the gym, and I'm obsessed with swimming in the ocean all year round. So
Mm,
generally, I will get in the ocean every morning as well, and that's
yeah.
just a connector for me. It's where I can really understand where I'm at and that everything is okay and that I'm grounded and guided and supported.
Yeah. And talking about that guided, because it's like, everything you're saying is you're following what feels good. You've got these practices. Do you kind of, when you talk about guidance, how does that show up for you? Like, what do you mean by guidance?
It's again, it comes back to connection. So it's connection to self. So whether that's downloads or light when I'm meditating, I just feel very held and supported. But I have to, not have to, because I feel have is very rigid, but I get to sit in silence, which is absolutely key, and
Mm,
to just be with no distractions and no open tabs. And it is just a quiet space where I feel held. And
yeah.
that's where I may get downloads, which can happen all the time. Like when I'll say to my clients in the mornings, I'll be like, wow, I just got this download and this has happened. But genuinely, I try to detach from that, from mind, from the monkey mind doing the work, and then actually sit in complete silence of light, and usually grounding. Yeah. So if I'm, as I said, if I'm in the ocean or my feet in the grass, like for me, it just feels nature is huge for me. Hence why you always see me doing videos outside. Like that's where I feel good, because people say, "Oh, you love it. You're by the beach." Like, because I feel good. So
Mm.
if I feel good, I want to lean into that even more. And hence why I have the outside events. It's people feel good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because yeah, all the venues are just absolutely gorgeous. There's always water. It feels spacious. It's like, yeah, it's really beautiful wherever you pick the venues to be.
Yeah, because I want
Um,
people to expand. I want people to
mm,
feel expansive and not into, yeah, contracting sort of energy, more
yeah,
open and expansive.
yeah. And where do you see kind of, because I know you're so passionate about small business. Like, where do you see small business going in the next few years, especially with like AI coming in and all this kind of stuff? Like, what's your sort of vision?
I feel it's a really great time for small business now. I feel that just from my work alone, I have so many calls coming through from those who are being made redundant in big businesses. We know that AI is coming in, it's taking over a lot of roles. And lots of people are now in a position where they can say, well, this is my life, right? I have one life and it's time to do something that I really love. And with the systems, the automations, the connection that is available, there's never been a better time to really lean in on what you love, who you want to be of service to, and then go for it. Because right
Mm.
now, as well, there has never been a greater time for people searching for people to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. And can we just touch on, like, obviously being in business and being in a small business where you're working by yourself, that importance of the human connection as well?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's huge. Having people around you that see you, inspire you, motivate you, hold you accountable is everything. If you don't have, what I hear a lot is the self belief. A lot of small business owners, they have a passion, they know their service is good, they're hearing it, but deep down they have that judgment on themselves and that self that, they're not worthy. And having people that see you and inspire you and can get behind you, not only in a community, but a mentor to get behind you, will create the biggest shift, because anything is possible. Anything is
Yeah,
possible. You just have to understand the vision and see the actionable steps, which is where I lean in on more than ever, is
yeah,
really mirroring the potential of those that I'm working with.
yeah. And I mean, for you now, like, obviously you're top of your game, like helping all these people. Do you still reach out? Do you still have a mentor? Do you have coaches? Do you have people you work with?
Yes. Yeah, I still have those mentors around me, and I still have amazing entrepreneurs who are now friends that I can speak to all the time as well, because it just takes one conversation. one powerful conversation of nuggets of wisdom. Like the key word for me at the moment with so many entrepreneurs that I'm working with as well is, you would know as well, like with ChatGPT and the way it's going. I mean, yeah, there's so many frameworks and structures and wording that's being produced, but the wisdom and the heart-led support from a human being who really cares is everything.
Yeah.
And so getting around those people on a regular basis is what's going to create a shift for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I really wish, hands down, when I started my small business like 5 years ago, I started it part-time in the middle of COVID. But I wish that someone had said to me then, don't spend any money on any courses, go and find a mentor. I really do wish, because I do feel like, even though, things have worked out perfectly the way that they are, I do feel that is the step, for me, it's like, once you get like things set up, find someone that you can trust, that you can call, that can be accountable, come and find somebody like you, find a community like Reach. And in that, you will feel so supported and just not alone, and kind of like, oh, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and just wasting so much money as well, because you're just trying to buy all these courses to figure out stuff that you're like, you don't really need to know everything. You're not going to know everything, you can find someone who's a marketing guru like you, and like come to you and get that support, so.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Like, there's just two things I want to touch on with there. It is, I feel that there's like a sense at the moment of course fatigue. People are getting an ebook or a shortcut to this, or let's try this. And the amount of people that have said to me over and over again, I've tried this, I've had this course, I've downloaded this, I've done this, and tried it themselves. But to get a heart-led kick up the butt by someone who believes in you, it's like, focus on this. Do this. Stop trying to do all these different things. Like, we need to focus, right? Blinkers on is really key, with everything. Same, with me, I'm looking at up-leveling my fitness soon and getting a PT, because I'm doing, I'm going through the motions, lifting weights. I'm not really pushing myself. I'm not really, we need them for everything. And the other thing I wanted to touch on, love, was the isolation part and being around other people. And I feel, as entrepreneurs, small business owners, is we are working at home a lot, which gives us flexibility, and it's great. But the amount of ideas that we have as entrepreneurs, and actually taking that into action, is when we get around other people who are, oh, me too, or I'm struggling with that too, or that's a great idea, or I'm not sure about that because I'd heard about this, or just soundboarding is everything.
Yeah, it's so important. And that human connection aspect of it, it's like, right now, I mean, I can feel it in the community that I'm in, just this surge of people wanting to be connected. It's like, we've had 5 years of whatever's been going on, and it's kind of like, now I feel like people are like, I'm missing something. I'm missing being around people. So I think what you're doing at Reach and bringing so many people together in such a fun and connected way is just magic. And yeah, you're just doing incredible work. So
Thank you.
yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. And I think it's really nice, like, talking to you about marketing, but really it's about mindset as well. It's like, and I love, because you've been on your own journey with that and studied that as well. And just for you to be able to bring that to people who are like, I feel a bit stuck here. And yeah, that's magic.
Yeah, and the thing for me is, well, you were calling me a marketing guru. Like, for me, I'm not,
I saw you roll your eyes, actually.
Yeah, because
sorry,
there's no hiding. Is for me, yeah, it's definitely more of a heart-led approach and looking at a business holistically rather than being a digital marketing specialist. Like, as you know, I have my collective of, ad specialists, my AI specialists, I have my VAs, like, they're all specialists in their field. But for me, it's about the opportunities in a business as a whole. Like, it's looking at every opportunity that we can, collaborations and partnerships, marketing. Branding for me is probably my favorite. In fact, it is building a brand, the storytelling, connection again through storytelling to our clients and the right partners. That's key. But as you say, mindset, and being an NLP coach, and I know you are too, is understanding patterns, is seeing the blocks and really helping people navigate that, because otherwise they're just stuck in that loop forever. So
Mm,
seeing that freedom come through and knowing that they can achieve this is amazing. And getting that response from my clients just saying thank you so much. This has really helped me, not just with business, but helped me evolve into someone I really want to become. And that's where
yeah.
I think at the moment, particularly with the power of personal brands, is huge. People are
Mm,
looking to people who are genuine, have lots of storytelling that connects with them, and there's a real opportunity. I'm working with, even now I have 6 clients who are over the age of 65,
mm,
who have been through journeys. I mean, absolutely incredible journeys, and realize now that the energy they have from being of service is super powerful. And so they come to me
mhm.
going, well, I don't understand technology. What do I need to do? And it's actually quite simple because the tools are there and now they're showing up, and people just want to work with them. Because, like you said,
Yeah,
people want to get around people more. They don't
yeah.
want to always use the technology and AI, and they want a real person to help them move the needle in their life and business.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I'm for me, just the authenticity piece as well. It's kind of like now it's like I think AI is incredible and I'm definitely embracing it in my own business, but for me it's like if I can feel that something is off or it is like
Yeah.
especially people using, in service businesses. It's like, for example, I know I'm never going to put myself in a situation where it's like I'm handing over my image to that just isn't something that I want to do because the authenticity of a real person speaking to you for me is key. So it's really interesting now. I'm finding myself unfollowing certain
Yeah.
people or whatever that are using that. So are you do you feel that authenticity piece is important, or will you be embracing AI in all areas?
Authenticity is key for me. I feel it's so poignant today in standing out in a saturated marketplace. But also, it becomes effortless when you're talking about content and showing up and visibility, which is key. Like you said, people can feel it, right? They understand so what if you create a video and, you don't have the perfect elocution in delivering? People want to know it's you and that you really care about what you're talking about. And so, I feel the important part is use it as a tool and work with it, but don't let it replicate you in your business.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you have an idea, what I love as someone me that likes to brainstorm all the time is I might come up with an idea or a masterclass or a group discussion or something, and I can run it through in my brand voice, which has been tailored to sound like me and take on everything, all parts of my life and who I am, and then it will give me frameworks from there. So it's an extensive ideas platform, but I wouldn't ever let it replicate me and who I am.
No.
Yeah.
No, I feel the same. I don't know, there's just some sort of part of integrity, right? Where it's just like if I want to talk to people, it needs to be me. But I can see the attraction of how easy and fast it is to do that, but it's just like it's not the way I see me going.
No,
So,
and that's it.
yeah.
It's a tool, it's
Mm.
using it. It's a very amazing tool. And I think it's also a bit daunting. We don't know where it's going to go and
Yeah.
how far it's going to go. But that's why, for me, my calling is to lean in even more into the deep and vulnerable, heart led conversations
Mm.
because
Yeah.
it's just the absolute extreme.
Yeah.
Even my
Yeah,
AI specialist
completely.
said the other day, it's interesting because we're tailoring a lot of AI packages for a lot of businesses that I'm working with. And he said it's interesting because we're systemizing and helping people with AI for the tools. But he said, but Mandy, you're almost like, the feminine energy, feet in the earth, people outside in a circle, having these conversations. But then you've got AI as a tool. And it's a
Yeah.
real like contrast.
Yeah. But
But
how amazing that you've been able to embrace that and bring that in, and still be grounded in the energy of yourself, which is, a huge part of reach as well. Like it's you, it's your energy coming through, not AI's energy. It's just supporting that.
yeah,
Yeah. Amazing. And so what's coming up for reach? What have you got planned? What's your vision? What's happening?
there's so much happening. It's very exciting. We have our next event this Thursday at Felons in Manly on the water, and
Yes.
that's every month in Manly. And it's just taken off. I'm really blown away. I was almost not dared to try it in Sydney. I probably wasn't ready, right? This is that whole inner critic piece. Like I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I'm really procrastinating. But launched in Manly, it's gone amazingly. Have an amazing community there already. And every month we meet up there. And also on the Central Coast, which has been running for nearly 3 years now in November, have two locations on the Central Coast where we meet monthly. We also meet as a whole. So Manly and the Central Coast, we meet online for an accountability piece, and networking. And I mentor every business as well. So I'm in every member's business, catching up with them and guiding them and helping them with direction, marketing, and mindset. So Reach is flourishing. It's really growing. And I keep getting questions from different people asking me to launch Reaches in different locations. So Newcastle, Sunshine Coast, all different areas. And I'm definitely open to it. So I'm not saying they're happening yet, but I am in that trust energy of, as we mentioned before, if it feels aligned, like Manly did, everything was, layering up. You're helping me lead in Manly. We met and it was it just was effortless, wasn't it? I mean, it was just
Yes.
crazy. You just suddenly
Yes.
came to a Reach event. You looked at me and said, this is amazing. I'm in. I threw my arms around you. And then there we were. And it was like, wow. And then the launch was in torrential rain and there were still 38 entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Amazing.
So for me, which could sound woo to people, but for me, I feel that I'm really being guided by this movement, and I feel like it's a movement. And so when it feels right, I will move as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that is so incredible. And yeah, I mean, I love being part of the Reach community, and thanks for trusting me and bringing me in. And where can people find you, Mandy? I know there's going to be lots of people listening to this who are like in the small business place and feeling a bit overwhelmed and all that kind of stuff. And can people internationally reach out to you? Is that a possibility as well?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling stuck, you're spinning your wheels and you're watching this and think, oh, I could do with some of her energy and focus, then you can definitely reach out to me on my Instagram. We can add the links on LinkedIn. And as I say, the Reach community, you can come along for a free trial for the first event and see how you go with that. The thing is just to go to my Instagram, which is Mandy_J_Millan, and then go from there. Then I've got my landing pages, which is to work for me on a one-to-one basis and also with Reach.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And is there anything else that before we wrap up this beautiful heart-led conversation, is there anything else you'd like to add? Any final messages for any small business owners out there? Anyone who's struggling with anything?
I would say to really take some time out in terms of listening to yourself, where you want to go, who you want to serve, what does success look and feel like for you on your own terms. Life is too short and it's time to go and get it.
I love it. Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Mandy.
you.
It's so lovely to see you on here, and I will be seeing you at the Reach event soon as well.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you for all your wisdom and sharing so much and giving so much value today, and really appreciate you and your beautiful energy.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Em. Lovely to chat to you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.